So I'm not entirely sure how to start this video because there's some subjects that I want to touch on that are a little difficult. Well, to be honest, they're a little more than just difficult. Well, as you all might know, it has been an interesting 2021. I moved out here, and within the first few months, I fell down the stairs during a rainstorm. Life happens, you go on. Well, come to find out that triggered some more things to happen. And it's been difficult learning to deal with them, but it's fairly serious. So, a little bit of background. I was in a car accident with one of my exes back in 2016, 2017. It happened in March of one of those 2 years. And the initial thought process from the state that I was living in and the doctors that I had seen was that, oh, I just pulled something and that I would be just fine. Well, kept trying to be as normal of an early 20-year-old I could be, and noticed that it was becoming really difficult, and I was in so much pain that it made life very difficult to handle. Well, fast forward about 2-3 years after that, and got into another car accident. And that just aggravated everything more. And every time that my body has had some sort of trauma, it's made things worse. Fast forward to literally last year in December. I was standing talking with a family member in their house, and all of a sudden my entire leg gave out. Now, being not even halfway through my 20s, that's really weird. So, went through physical therapy for like the third time, and they couldn't find a cause. Nothing looked broken on x-rays, but they refused to do further testing. It was hard because I could barely walk, and it unfortunately made our poor dog suffer. And I hate doing that to him, but it was an unfortunate event, and it took me almost 2 months to fully recover from that. Well, that and a minor surgery that I had to have. Well, didn't have to, I wanted to. Fast forward to this year when I fell down the stairs. That triggered it to start going off even more. Well, the doctors here have been amazing. Like, I could not ask for better doctors. We went and did so much testing in about 6 months worth of time. Multiple tests to go and see if there was any x-rays that would show anything, or if my blood work would show anything. And I ended up having to go to a rheumatologist because it was looking heavily like I have fibromyalgia. Well, come to find out, just before Thanksgiving, that not only do I have fibromyalgia, but I also have an erosion in my left hip and another pretty serious incurable condition called ankylosing spondylosis. From now on, we'll just call it AS, because that's the simple shorthand for it. Well, AS basically means that my spine and my SI joints in my hips are going to slowly fuse, which could put me in a wheelchair later in life. Like, right now I already walk with a cane because life is that fun. Well, winter has basically hit, and the weather affects it a lot. Like, it is definitely not an easy life, but with learning how to deal with all of this stuff, it has given me a newfound strength. Like, the most unfortunate part about AS is that there is no cure. There's hardly anything that they can really do, because some of the treatments I can't be on because of one med or another, and it's just a lot. It's a lot for one person to handle, and God's bless Raven. He has been absolutely wonderful through all of this. Like, I could not ask for a better partner in life, because despite me being a moody little cunt, for lack of a better word, he has put up with all of it, and he's put up with how much I've been going through. And I know it's not easy on him either, because it's a whole different ballgame for both of us. It's something neither one of us have ever dealt with, and it's definitely a huge learning curve. I have to honestly thank the ankylosing spondylosis subreddit, because they have been a wonderful tool and support for this, because just learning about it, like learning all the different things that can either go wrong, or the different treatments, everything like this, it has led to some feelings like it's my fault. And honestly, it's not. It's not anyone's fault. It's not even fully a genetic type condition. It's almost like fibro, but it acts differently. Like that, there can be some genetic markers that you have that can cause it. And unfortunately, it looks like I have had this for a lot longer than just 5 years. It honestly looks, because looking back through my medical history and looking back to about the time the symptoms would have started, it would have started in my mid to late teens. And it's hard to imagine a life like that. Like, unfortunately, knowing my family probably won't be watching this, but my family's lack of concern for anything going on with me or anyone else in the family has made it also a difficult life. Because whereas some people get that support from family, my support looks a lot different. Like, part of my support's coming from all the way in Missouri, and I love her to death. Like, I couldn't be happier with the people that I've met here, and everything that they have helped me through. Unfortunately, it does look like I will not be able to work, especially considering my more chosen field. I would have to be standing and moving around for a very long time, upwards of like 8 hours some days. Like, honestly, I would love to go back to my chosen field, but I can't. It's not that I don't want to. It's that with my health and everything, and how harsh of a turn my health has taken, it's, to put it easily, it's not safe for anyone in that environment. Because my chosen field is food. Like, I love food, and I love to cook, and I love all aspects of it. Like, I really wanted to be a chef because food is my passion. And unfortunately, that's no longer viable. And I've attempted to work for this last year, and as things keep going and going and going, I'm finding it's harder to do it. And I love my job. Like, I don't want to have to leave. But that's the unfortunate part, is I don't think I have much of a choice in this because of the kinds of turns my health has taken. Like, I can only do so much before I've overdone it. And getting ready for our big event, I have had several days that it has been damn near impossible to want to get out of bed and do everything. But I know that if I don't at least try, it could be worse. And I'm thankful for how understanding my current job is, because this was not something anyone in their young life would expect. Like I know that it actually sounds like a disease, well, a condition that would be diagnosed a lot later on in life. But from everything that I've read and seen on the subreddit and everything like that, a lot of people are being diagnosed around my age. And for that to be such a crippling thing, like, I cannot live a fully sedentary life. Otherwise the AS will catch up and start fusing things faster. But I also can't fully live a super active life because I run the risk of overdoing it and making life worse for myself. Like, it's very unfortunate, but at this point in time, I have to get a handicap placard, which just does not feel right based on my age and everything like that, because I'm only 25. I'll be 26 in the spring, and this is such a serious condition. Like, and they have some treatments available, and some of them I cannot qualify for because of my own brain. Like, it's not easy. So I have to kind of pick and choose what I do and how I'm going to go about everything. So that is the little update about me and everything that's going on with me, which is why every now and then you won't see me in videos or stuff like that. Like, I'm working towards a little more ease and health conscious stuff, and just trying to figure out what lies where and how much I can get away with before it's too much. So, if you don't see me in videos, I'm probably sleeping, because that's unfortunately what a lot of the meds do to me, is they make me really tired, because there's just, it's how the medicines work, and when they're working all at once, like I take about 14 different meds or 14 different pills in a day. Like, it's a lot for one younger person. Like, I'm thankful to have an answer, but it's an answer that leads to more questions. And luckily I've got a great set of doctors that are more than willing to answer those questions and make me feel like I can make it through. Like, it's not the end of the world, but it's a little bit the end of the world that I wanted. Because there's some things that I'm not going to be able to do. And it's unfortunate, but there's other things that I can do. And other things that will help. So it's definitely one of those unique cases. Like, it's pretty rare to have AS, but coupling that with fibro, I had like, what was it, something between a 10 and 20% chance of getting it, and getting both of them. So we're gonna keep up with treatments and learn where to go next, because not everything is going to be perfect, and we're both well aware of this, but we can make it a perfect world for us. Like, it's definitely one of those things, like, I'm glad that I pushed my doctors to be like, there is something wrong. Like, whether or not you can see it on any of your tests doesn't mean anything. Something is wrong. So, honestly, I urge everyone who's going through any kind of like medical problems and stuff like that, if your doctors aren't listening to you, fire them. Just at that point, fire them. They are not worth your time, trouble, or effort. Because a good doctor will do everything in their power to help get you either answers or get you better. And I'm well aware of the hoops that you have to jump through for insurance as well. But even a good doctor is going to be like, this is what we have to do to get to this. So we're going to do it, get it out of the way so that way insurance can't say anything. Like, it's hard enough living in this world. But there are definitely people out there who know how to make life easier. And I know that with the struggles of all of this, I am forever thankful that the doctors here listened to me and did what they needed to do to at least get me answers. Because, no, it may not be something curable, but despite it not being curable, it's treatable. I apologize for that. My dog was making very weird sounds. I believe he is snoring though. That poor guy, like, he's been through heck with all of this. Like, and he could not be a better dog for how he's handled it all. He has handled it with grace and understanding. Like, he's learned so much in the last year, and it's amazing. I'm forever going to be thankful to Raven for how he's been through all of this, because it's hard enough for one person to do it on their own, but it can be even harder for a couple to learn how to deal with this on their own. So, he has been just absolutely and utterly amazing. Like, he does such a wonderful job at making sure that I don't overdo everything and that I'm doing well. Because he cares. He cares so much about me. And it shows. But I've chopped your guys' ear off long enough about this. I hope you stick around and watch what we've got planned next.